So as you can see the topic, automation analysis and upskilling. So we'll touch upon all these things over the next 45 minutes. Just to give a brief overview from all of you is my first large format event which I did of around 400 people a couple of years back was in ICAI. And it was the first time, like I was talking to customers, meeting people. You always do one-to-one, one-to-a-few. The first one, 400 people, ICAI. It was in a hotel, and I was very nervous because 400 people, what if something goes wrong? There were live demos, a lot of things to talk about. So I went 2 days before there to the hotel, checked how is the podium looking, how is the stage looking, how am I going to be looking? What if I have plan A, plan B, plan C if something falls apart? Because it was also live demos. But it's been a long way from there to today, where I think 1,000+ people. So today people feel very happy when Instagram you reach 1 million followers or 100,000. Like probably this is a milestone for me, an audience of 1,000 people. So it will also go on my record books. So as we move forward, the most important thing is to think of art of possible, right? There's no limit to this word, art of possible. And that's how we need to think. The new tech which is coming, everything is not thought about, everything is not known, but lots of things will happen. So as I go through it, you'll see a lot of demos, and you'll see me using the word co-pilots multiple times during the session. But remember the key takeaway which you have to think is saying a tech is available to do things which was not possible even a year back. And that's what we are enabling one by one on different levels as we move forward. So these are some of the things which I'll be talking through in live cases of how we as a corporate are using. And I would still say we are a baby. Okay, there's a lot more things which will come, we will do. And maybe if I come back and give a presentation in 6 months, it might be a completely different advanced topic more than what we are talking about here. But as you go back, we are CAs, okay? We are either working in corporates or in audit firms or in multiple things. And what is important for all of us is to make sure that whatever we do, because we always think about money, is to make it profitable. Now, is it always profitable? Maybe, maybe not. That's why a lot of trial and errors happened. But this slide actually talks about security at the core. Okay? And when whatever you're thinking, you can experiment, no doubt about it. But keep security at the core when you think of whatever tech you're leveraging, whatever solution you are creating, because reputational damage can be really, really bad if things go wrong. Individually, as consumers, we generally don't think. We give our emails, we give our data, we fill up forms, and we don't know the terms and conditions because they are too long to read. We don't know how it is being used. But in a corporate world, a misstep can fire, and a value of a corporation can diminish from billions to zero if wrong things happen. So always think of security at the core of whatever and wherever you think from a corporate point of view or a business point of view. Now, this is just one slide, and this is where probably I'll also give a quick introduction about myself, which I have not given. So I'm working with Microsoft for 19 years. This slide is talking about 1 decade. I've seen 2 decades. Prior to Microsoft, I used to change jobs every 2 to 3 years. I used to get bored because I always wanted something where finance and tech comes together. And Microsoft is where we say, right, Ram Milay Jodi. I'm married 20 years, almost 20, and I'm with Microsoft 19 years. So, both are running in parallel. So I know I'm not going to divorce my wife, but company is a company at the end of the day. But as you look at this graph or this table, the important point to take away is all about a journey. Every company has its own journey. We have taken our journey a decade back, which is starting from the top when we talk about modern finance as you see it. It's all about saying, I want to transform digitally as finance. And rest assured, we used to enter meetings, people coming with printouts or in Excel files with different numbers in the same meeting. And we used to fight half the meeting saying, this is not my number. Okay? So there was a point in time Microsoft decided that first, let's get the data right. Whatever happens, the metrics, the KPIs, the ways to review business and take it forward, the data has to be right. And so at that point in time, the journey in Excel started off saying, let me get the back end right, front end is Excel to present the data. The beauty is that journey which was taken 10 years back or 12 years back is the benefits we are continuing to reap in the last 5 years. Whereas technology has evolved continuously and at a fast pace, we are now able to use GenAI in a lot of stuff on a day-to-day basis because 10 years back there was a decision taken. Now when we do present and talk to customers on this journey, the importance is you may be at different places of the journey. By looking at the journey, learn and skip a few places and the steps which we took painfully, right, wrong, and reach the end target faster. That's the key outcome of this. Learn, accelerate, and skip a few things because you don't need to take the pain of whatever and whatever we did as a failure because that will not show up on the slide, but they were failures. And ultimately, we are where we are. So the importance is journey. Now, another way to also think of AI, because I know it's a buzzword, it's there to stay, it's not going anywhere for any one of us, but sometimes the framework is also important. How do you think that the framework should work to say, I am transforming in AI? If somebody comes to you as a company, as an individual, are you transforming? How do you think? So this is how, again, a suggestion from our side is to say, is your AI being used by the employees, which is the first box. Are you enriching, giving them the tools and the training and the skilling? Okay. When you're talking to your customers, is your interface being much more richer from information, usability? So are you converting and conforming to a very new way of customer engagement? And we talk about business processes, and this is also very close to our heart because corporates, firms, processes is there everywhere. Some we don't like, some we have to do it, and some we hate. Okay. And finally, because you're adopting technology, are you doing things better, faster, productively? And that means bending the curve on innovation. So this is one of the thematic of way to say, am I AI transformation ready or am I working on it? So as we move forward now to the AI journey, this becomes another very important way to visualize your future as an organization. And personally, in another year or two, as a manager also and as a leader within the company, I think this is going to be my team. Okay, physical plus Copilot, which is just an interface, plus agents. And these three together will form teams of how you do work and how you accomplish things which are given to you or the company wants to move forward with. Because human ambition is unlimited. That's out of the box thinking. Copilot is just a UI. How do you interface? And agents is where the work gets done, whether it's agent or people, as we talk about it. So this combo is there to stay. And it will just become stronger and stronger on all the three buckets. It's not that one will take over another. Human ambition is still super good, powerful, and the ideas will come from there. So this combo in that way will just become richer and richer as we move forward. Now, I'll start getting into a couple of demos as we move forward, video recording, but I will talk over it so that you understand what is happening. But I talked about data transformation, which we did a decade back of trying to get everything together. So the first one which I'm going to talk about is how, as a corporate, are we thinking of numbers? We all play with numbers day in and out, whether it's in Excel, in tools, doesn't matter the platform. But as we think of data and the system gets evolved, I would still go back and emphasize data is important. Okay, is it structured? Is it unstructured? And what's your journey? Because if you want to use GenAI, as we move forward, the better the structure, the better they are AI ready, the better outcome you will get. We all know GenAI works beautifully on text. It's getting better on numbers. But this is the journey everybody has to take if you want to reach point number 3. Otherwise, your point number 3 will never be something which is worth the pain which you're going to invest Gen AI into. So that's why as you think through, all the 3 buckets are important. Now, this one, the next slide, is just a broad overview of, say, one report. Power BI, we all know. Most of us might have used it or got trained on it. And again, this is all to share experiences of how we have been operating. Is we have a platform, centralized platform, where hundreds of reports created by corporate is available. They create it, customizable for us. Based on profile. If you're a finance profile, you have access to some reports. If you're a business, you have access to some other reports. And everything is visualized in standard ways. So one ways of thinking, one ways of metrics, one ways of business performance, and this comes out of a data lake, which is multiple systems. Now, this is also very important because we meet a lot of customers. Every company invests in tons of systems, given. Can a company rip apart a system and say, I will remove 20 systems and I move to one system? That's also not going to happen. Let's be very clear. Nobody wants to rip off the bandage. What is your next solution if you want to be part of this whole solution of Gen AI as it comes through? Your solution is, how do I build on top a platform which can work with all the systems, interact at a more holistic level, and then you use the AI layer. That's the only easy, faster way, because the ripping off is not practical. And most of the companies don't have the money to rip off. And hence, once you have that layer of data lake, whichever platform it is in, reporting becomes easier, decision making becomes faster, and AI layer comes into play. Now, what you see here is one report. This is top-down approach. So always think as a corporation also, how are you empowering your employees, right? Empowerment number 1. They're giving me top-down reporting saying this is all the important metrics. Maybe it satisfies 70% of my requirement. But it's also giving me an empowerment of bottoms up, saying I am going to give you the cubes, the data which is there. You can customize, create your own report, and now use Copilot, for example, to do even much more. So what you will see here as a video, and I'm hoping yes, so it's running while I talk through. So this is a report, for example, with the same data set, but we have created as finance in the team. Now, you have the flexibility of selecting what you want, but on your right, basically, you see a Copilot summary. So whatever is the numbers on the left-hand side, we do use it. But on the right-hand side, you start seeing an auto Copilot summary, which means I don't need to write comments for myself to send to anybody, but it pops up here. And again, different visualizations are there. Now, Microsoft as a company also is too much focused on revenue. So we actually have a daily flash. Flashback 3 years, 5 years back, a person was hired somewhere to copy paste tons of pictures into an email, and every day morning at 9 or 10, he would send it to the leadership team and everything. And this was happening in every area in the world, okay, a couple of years back. Now, think of this. You have a Power BI. There's a subscription mode. You put in saying, send it to so many people at 11 in the morning. And it has a Copilot generated summary, which I can customize and say, add these talking points when you send the email. So now, without any human interference, across the world, you can send out emails automatically with comments in the email to whomever you want. Imagine the amount of low value added work which just disappeared because we started using, say, a Copilot summary with a subscription on a Power BI. So by merging 2-3 things, I'm suddenly now don't need low value work to be done by anybody. As we move forward, this is again a brand new tech, I would say. It's Power BI, so don't worry about the tech part of it. But what does finance do in a lot of places? We collect information. Give me comments, give me reason for variance, why is this PO not accrued, what has happened at month end, blah, blah, blah. So not only just we are doing a lot of work on analysis and reviews, but we collect a lot of comments also. And in Power BI, one of the complaints was, it's always you're reading. There's no way to push back anything back for us to do. So just a month back, they introduced something called translatic task flows. Now, the word looks very complex, but think of it as transaction and analytics merged, and they created a new word. And what you see here is just a simple same Power BI where I'm trying to collect an information on deals which are yet to be closed. And I'm asking the business saying, is it pending? Is it slipping or so? So on the left-hand side, what you see as a box is they're selecting Hinduja group. As soon as they select Hinduja group, the middle path updates with what is the further details of that deal specifically. And on the right-hand side, the red box is now an input screen on a Power BI. So think of it if you're collecting something regularly from people, comments, numbers, and all that stuff. I'm putting something on a Power BI dashboard with an input screen now. And once I press submit, go back and look at Hinduja, what will happen. It will go back into the system and Hinduja will get updated with a status in less than 30 seconds. Now think of this as a scalability point. You are maybe touching 100 people, 1,000 people, same time. Instead of Excel files which may crash, may be heavy, now you are giving them, and you can see on track has already come. Now you are giving them a platform where it is web-based, input-output, instant transfer, and getting to see what has happened. So if I open this dashboard at any point in time, I always know it's the latest status. I don't need to worry and look at people to say, okay, why didn't you input? So this now becomes another way of approaching input-output without Excel files or any other tech as we move forward. So as I was talking to one of the colleagues out here is, what creates magic for us as finance or from a business point of view? It is not knowing one thing. You knowing Excel, great. Maybe you knowing PowerPoint, great. Maybe you knowing Power BI, great. The magic comes when you actually know things, mix and merge, stitch together, and create a pattern, which becomes a solution. Now, there are different products which are showing up here, which were all stitched together to create one solution, which I just showed the prior one. And do I need to know everything? No, I can always rely on people to figure out some parts of the puzzle as we move forward. But the beauty today is every single product, whether is a Microsoft product or others, you can actually learn and find solution even through your chat GPTs or Copilot and work on it. So things which were not possible a year back, two back, where do I go and learn some of these products to make it work? It is today built into the product, or you already have a solution. So if you really need to think out of the box, one product is not the solution. Stitching together multi-products to create an outcome which is now sellable, workable, becomes a solution. So very critical to think in that pattern for be successful. Otherwise, you may end up with the same bread and butter. Now I will go to the next, which is called Power BI Agent as another way of thinking. And this also is just, the Power BI Agent as we talk about it is also just 2 months old. But think of it as a power from now till another 2 years. We have information in multiple places. Okay, you get asked from your boss, what is this number at this point in time? Suddenly, after 3 minutes, he will ask you another question. What is the number in another report? You keep opening Excel files. Now, as we think through again in the future of data, data could be in multiple places. And here you can see this is like an opening page where it tells me a couple of things. But at the bottom, you will see that I'm going back and saying, somebody asked me a question and about what is the current revenue. So I'm saying, open, find that report where the revenue is. It is another Power BI, but I don't want to go and keep opening different Power BIs because I get questions a lot. And I am asking the question, what is the actual revenue for the current year? Now, this screen is going to go to that separate Power BI, look at it, fetch the answer, and push it back here. So what is this again doing is stopping you from going to multiple places for multiple different topics. In one place, you can now start getting answers by just redirecting your agent from this screen to say, get me an answer from this table or that table and give it back to me here. So this is how, again, you have to think at agent, which is the next topic which I will talk about, is you will stop going to multiple places in future. You will always have a home screen, and that will take you and bring back whatever you want. Okay, now this is one example of data because it's Power BI. Agents are going to be much more powerful. So as we evolve, And I always think myself in the last 10 years also, I used to open tons and tons of Excel files every day, whenever for every report. Then I learned Power BI. I felt Power BI was much easier to use because I would just go to the browser and I could have my designed views and see my numbers. So I stopped opening a lot of Excel files. This will make me open Power BI also. I'll just go here, ask the question, get my answer. Why the heck do I need to open 10,000 Power BIs also? I just point to the right place. So we are changing, and this is one of the ways and examples of how we will evolve, which is super critical to think through. Because again, I go back to the same thing, data. Your data is good, your outcomes are good. Now I'll just talk about agents, and I know a lot of discussions have happened on agents in the last 2 days, and again, my humble opinion, it is there to stay. It is there to stay, and it is there to bulldoze us in a very big way. Okay, it's not just there to stay. Because somebody staying here, and I'm staying here is great, but if somebody is going to take center stage and bulldoze me out, that's what agents will do. Okay, that's why upskilling is super critical on you to learn what is it, how to learn, and how to use it in future. Because some of these things will make or break careers. Okay, and if you don't know, and like many people have said, either you are an AI CA or you are a CA, and that is, would you have a job or would you have a very good job? Okay, so think of it in that way, because this is where make or break thing actually will happen. Now, as you think again, from a corporation point of view, because the word agent is used many places, so let me slightly give an example of what my framework of mind of agent is, right? So that why it is so life-changing for all of us. What is ChatGPT? What is Copilot? What is Claude? When you start first, asking questions, it's an LLM. You ask, it answers. You ask, it answers. Which means it's a reasoning brain. So picture a brain sitting next to me, and just a brain is there. You talk, it answers. You talk, it answers. But does it allow you to do tasks? Does it walk? Does it pick up a cup of water? Does it do anything? No, it answers questions very, very, very well, because it's a very super intelligent thing. But think of that brain now being put into a body, wherein now it can walk, it can do tasks, it can do actions, it can do things which you want it to do. Okay? That's where agents come in. And this is the era of agents, because that brain is getting a body. And today as humans, we also walk, we talk, we eat, we do actions, we do processes. Agents are there to do that for us, and it will just get better and better, because now you're combining brain with a body, and that's where magic is going to happen. Okay? And that's why agents are there to stay. You may think it is far away, not very much. Okay? Now, as a corporation, when you think, what do I do of agents? Where do I apply? How do I start off? Because that's a common question we get from customers also, because too much of information, not knowing what to do. So what we are doing also as a company is 2 phases of agents. Top down, it means what is important as a corporation, they are starting to make agents, and I'll show 2 examples of top down and 2 examples of bottoms up. Why bottoms up? Because every employee should also know how to make agents to help themselves or help their team and upskill themselves. So this is an example of, say, employee self-service, where couple of departments, HR department, facilities department, IT department, everything which they have as a back-end resource in their brain is behind this agent, a top-down agent. So I asked one question of what do you do? It answered me a question. So this becomes like a chatbot. Then I asked, what is my cost center? It gave me a cost center. This means it's connected to my line of business application in SAP. That's why it gave me an answer on a cost center. So it has text. It is connected to line of business. Then I asked about Perks Plus, which is a benefit program we have in Microsoft. So it started giving me details of my program as Microsoft. So this is an HR information coming back to me in one platform. So now multi-platforms are all getting merged at the back end. Line of business, HR, facilities, and so I'm asking the question, can I claim sports shoes? Now I've stopped the recording here, but at the end of the day, this is where reasoning comes in. It will listen to my question, look at the policy, and say yes or no. Right? So now that's where the brain comes. So line of business, chatbot, brain, all merged into one place, top-down approach. Okay? Now, another one, because we are in finance, finance assistant. And don't think that these are all fully grown AI agents. These are continuously improving. Today, I may not find answer of two things. Maybe in 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, I'll find an answer because they're evolving. It's not that it's a end product. So now this is just a finance agent which I'm talking about. Again, similarly for us, for the business. And I'm asking first a textual question, saying what is SSPA? It refers to a privacy policy where Microsoft will only work with vendors if they satisfy Microsoft's privacy policy of keeping the customer confidentiality. So it gave me an answer. Then, then the next question, for example, which I'm going to ask is, how do I open a PO? Again, a more text-based question like a chatbot. So it's going to just tell me that this is how you should open a PO. Now, as we move forward, this is not sufficient for me. Now I understand. But now I'm asking the next question which will come is about my own PO, which I would have created, and give me information about that. Now the third question is actually now connecting to, once it comes, it's connecting to a line of business application again. So it's now pulling information from SAP and giving me an answer to say what's happening on the status of my PO. So it gave me certain details which I had created a dummy PO, and I can now start going and updating a PO through a chatbot or through this thing rather than again going to a system and finding answers to the question. So in this way, you can see that your line of business applications will start becoming redundant. So there was a statement I think our CEO Satya made probably a year and a half back, saying SaaS is going to be dead. SaaS is going to be dead. What does that mean? It means that when you have a powerful front interface, why do you need an Uber app? Why do you need an expense app? Why do you need any damn travel app? Why do you need anything if you can talk or write and get your answers? Why do you need to even go to an application? So his visualization is that in a few years, when we are all AI ready, the applications are AI ready, you will not need an app. You will not need a program. You do it through one interface, because that will solve your problems for everything. Now, again, like I told you, there are two approaches, top-down, bottoms-up, okay? So as a top-down, the company, for example, and this is my own screen, has created certain of these apps top-down, and the apps keep adding itself. So this is just for you to be aware of that it's a continuous evaluation of saying what is the top-down approach from a company point of view. With this, I will go to the next one, which is bottoms-up approach. And this is also super critical for our own upskilling, because just the company doing it for me is not helping me. I'm typing, I'm getting answers. I should know how to do stuff with agents for improving my own productivity, my own team's productivity. So, for example, one of my team members created a T&E app, which is just for India. And there are predefined questions which they've kept, which you can question and answer. So now, this is how we are now interfacing an app available to us, or sorry, an agent, pointing to certain policies and answering questions. So the way we are looking at this is, we create the app and then we roll it out to the business people saying, please don't bother us with stupid questions. Go to the app, answer the question, whatever you want, it will give you the answer. So it saves our time and helps the business, because they may want to ask the question at 12 a.m., fine. The app is always open 24/7. But we know that the app always, because it's an agent, it has a brain. Okay? So as we go through this, the last question which I've asked is, can I buy cinema tickets? Okay? And because it's a brain, not just a chatbot, it will come and say that cannot be claimed. So this is the key difference. Again, think of it. 2 years back, 3 years back, chatbot would never answer this. But today you have a brain as an agent looking at an LLM policy and answering questions saying, no, you cannot claim cinema tickets. This one is particularly very a tax assistant agent. Now this has been created by an industrial trainee working with us in the last 3 months. He's a 20-year-old. And this demo will, or I'll just quickly scan through the slides, will tell you like how 20-year-olds with the right tech intensity are been creating stuff which is helping us. Again, they used basic text to find a problem solution where we have too many notices, where what is the status of it, how do I quickly interact. And so they use, say, Power Automate as a tech to work it out along with the agent. But just read the questions. That is what is more important to understand how, by just creating a solution which might have taken 2 hours and not more, is the questions and the answers which are coming, right? Give me a list of indirect notices in Maharashtra. There's a pile of documents, notices, it's scanning through, giving me an answer. Then I want to know the more information about the first thing, DRC01C. Second question is giving more information about that. Then as I move forward, I go further. How do I go about refuting government's claim on excess, right? It's starting to give me an answer saying, this is how you should answer them. More questions which I'm asking, can you look for GSTR 3 for November? And then this one is a very good one. Can you provide examples of similar case laws? So now it's looking internal plus external and giving me an answer for that same problem statement which I'm working on. So this, and the final one, draft a follow-up with the authorities for a closure of this case. So imagine if you had to do this as an individual a year back versus an intern or an industrial trainee creating this for an organization. This is magic, okay? This is 1 day job done in 5 hours, 1 day job done in 5-10 minutes, because you have created now that kind of an agent. And that's why this is an example of bottom up. Skilling, no agents, because this is where the change is happening. So super important for all of us. Like I've created my own agents as I'm also testing and different processes, but this is where a lot of things will become a reality. So this is just a quick example of agents moving from simple to advanced. And it's a very simple few examples, but like I said, it's just the start of a journey. We will have a team of people who will include agents in it. Your team will not be about people anymore. Mark my words, in a year's time, you will have agents with you to do your work. Now, as I move forward, again, a quick one, and I probably will speed up from a time point of view. When AI became a buzzword, and I'm talking about 7, 8 years back, when machine learning was a buzzword and AI was a buzzword, a quick example of how, for example, Microsoft was thinking of forecasting, right? Microsoft is a $200 billion company. A 1% forecast accuracy error, 1% is $2 billion. If a CFO thinks I'm going to be short by $2 billion, how much will they cut dollars of spend, people, OPEX, whatever it is, $2 billion revenue miss. So a couple of years back, Microsoft said, I have 10,000 salespeople who are giving me forecasts. That forecast is full of emotions. Some person is optimistic, I'll do much, much better. Some people are pessimistic, I'll do very bad kind of thing. And that was a forecast being made by 10,000 people. So what they ran a project, I think it was pre-COVID at that time, is they ran normal process of 10,000 people and they started testing machine learning on global data for 6 quarters, and they continuously fine-tune the results of that outcome of machine learning versus people forecast. At the end of that 6 quarters, the machine learning was giving an outcome which was 1.4% accurate than people, okay, after 6 quarters of fine-tuning. 1.6% or 1.4% is $3 billion of accuracy up or down, okay? After that, we stopped asking people for forecast. We say, you do your job, you fill your pipeline in your CRM, tell me your opportunities, I'll do the forecast, okay? And I have machine learning to help me out. So in that way, we cut down on 10,000 people's time, effort, and emotions, because we started relying more on machine learning. Now, as you think, again, this is just an interface of machine learning, which is available to us in Excel to look at different ways of machine learning, because it's not just one method. There can be multiple methods. But to do this, you need to be a data scientist. We are not DS, we are CAs, okay? So come last 2 years, Excel, our favorite, as we think through. And Excel has now been powered with Python. Again, do I know Python? I don't know, okay? Do I need to know really? Not really. If my interest peaks, I will learn it, but I don't need to know. So now Excel powered with Python and Copilot coming into the way, you can actually do very similar stuff in Excel without even creating a thing of data scientist. So now this is just an example. Again, did it start? Yeah. So this is just an example of creating a forecast in Excel. You have a data set of say 6 to 9 months of information, and on the right, just keep looking at the questions and the answers which are coming up, where now you're not doing anything, you're just asking questions to say, analyze this data. It analyzes it. Then you are asking for advanced analytics. It's now going back as Python, creating the code, giving you advanced analysis of the next, what is to be done. And ultimately, as we look at this whole thing, we will not do anything on the left in Excel. Everything is being done on the right between Python, Copilot, and Excel working together, where it's now creating a 9-month forecast on that. And then after that, I'll ask it to create a graph. This was all live, but I have recorded, just from a presentation point of view. But you can see now that it not only just created a future forecast using Python, it's now converting into graphs as we are asking for it, merging existing with the new, and coming with a full holistic picture of a forecast. So this is done by a person using Excel, which we all love, okay? You don't need to be a data scientist. Somebody will think you are a data scientist, but you are a CA. That's the key difference now, wherein you are saying Excel is enough powerful for you to do it. So now, as you can see, it has created a graph and everything as you move forward. So data analytics at your fingertips by using Excel, Python, Copilot as a concept, okay? I'll move to the next one. Again, I'll not go through the full video, but what I also want to show you is with AI coming in, most of the products, whichever we have been used to be using, are becoming, I would just say, on steroids. Okay, they're becoming powerful and powerful and powerful. So here, again, I'll not go into more detail, and I'll make it 20 seconds short, this video, is this Excel is being connected to SAP where your real data is stored. Okay, you are asking questions in Excel, it is going to SAP, collecting the information, giving you a comment. Now look at this question. You got an answer, but you're saying, I'm not very happy with it. Can you compare it with external environment? So now within Excel environment, it's also connecting to the browser and the net and trying to match your data with what is available on the net for this categories of sales, and then giving you another analysis saying, does it make sense, like what is happening, good, bad, ugly in the business? Does it make sense with the external factors or not? And I will not finish the video because it's a longer one, but what I want you to take home here is simple. Whether it's Excel, Word, doesn't matter which platform it is, that interoperability is going to be mind-boggling, where from one app, you'll be able to do so many different things, just whether it's Word, Excel or so. So the way the worlds are going to blend between internal data, external web, in how you approach. Now this is just a quick outcome of how we are using researcher. We all know ChatGPT has deep reasoning, Copilot, Perplexity has it. A lot of apps have this. Generally, if you're not on the paid version, you have to pay after a certain tries. So Microsoft has, for example, we use this for a lot of, when the customer comes and says, I want discounts, I want this, I want that, we go to researcher and say, what's the financial health of the customer? What have they spent on last 3 years? Blah, blah, blah. You ask the question, in 10 minutes, it will go through deep reasoning and come back on the customer report to say, should I even consider a discount, or they are just bluffing to get a discount right now? So as we think through, we do research here now. For example, my daughter is right now in 12th, or she will enter in 12th. I use this so much to research on colleges. Okay, day in and day out. Now, I'm not going to websites. I use researcher to do colleges. And the whole concept of research is iterative process for it to come out with answers. So in work, we are using researchers to understand our clients, and many times do business and contractual discussions based on what we get from here. So this is just an example of somebody asking a researcher, but I'll not go through it from a time point of view. And then there's analyst. Okay, this is also very important now as CAs for us. Okay, research is research. Analyst is where this is also a built-in free outcome if you have Copilot of you dumping data, could be PDFs, could be Excel files, could be CSV, asking it to take a deeper look, and it will do its analysis, and in 5 to 10 minutes, it'll give you an answer with graphical and comments. Now, what is happening here is this also just came out 2-3 months back, so it's not like very old. But what they are now looking to do with analyst is, can I connect this analyst to your line of business? So today I don't need to go back and look at my line of business. I can type the question on certain information. It will go back to my source data, find the analytics, and come back to me. So in that way, analytics or analyst agent is probably going to be super powerful as we think, because see here, if you look at the question which I've asked here is PDFs of Infosys, HCL, all that stuff, I think, yes, together and give me an analysis. Now this is a PDF, it will still understand. So whether it's your line of business data, whether it's Excel files or PDFs, it is all about numbers. And analyst becomes my go-to to play with numbers. And it will, it actually tells me what it is doing while it, thinks through. It'll take 3 to 5 minutes generally before it comes out with an answer. But the idea is, I think both researcher and analyst is where we have started playing around a lot to do our day-to-day work. So I'll just move on. Copilot vision. Okay. Now, it's right now dark, so I was actually planning to do a quick demo of Copilot vision through my phone also. It's available. But we all know Gemini has it, Copilot consumer version has it. It can see you all. It can start talking, and I tried doing this at home. I showed a picture in a frame, beautiful answers. But let's start with what we can do from work point of view. And it's all about thinking out of the box. Because some of the things which we think we need an IT department or an HR department or many other things may disappear. But so Copilot vision is another way to think out of the box, because the way I've been thinking, what will Copilot vision help me personally first? Okay, and what if somebody is having a heart attack and you don't know how to do CPR? You start Copilot vision and tell me where should I place my hand? How many things please count? If you don't know how to cook, it can become your mother and tell you by watching you and telling you put this and put that. The boundaries are unlimited of how you can use on a consumer level, but think of it as on a corporate world also, because that's where we have to think through. So what I've done is I've recorded 3 demos. They are at 1.5x speed, so it will be a bit fast on the reading part, but it's just an example of thinking of where Copilot comes in. So I got 2 weeks back a notice from, so I just started Copilot and I shared my screen with Copilot vision. Okay, I got this notice 2 weeks back from TDS department. Oh, sorry, one sec. This will require voice. So is there a voice possibility here, if we can? Sorry. Or even if, or I can just put a mic here. चालू है? So while they solve the problem, I'll just voice over from interest of time. So I had 2-3 examples to show. So I had shown this income tax notice or a TDS notice to Copilot Vision, which means the email was ready. I just started Copilot Vision. I said, what do I do with it? It started telling me what the notice is about. I asked the question saying, do I need to contact my CA firm? They said it's quite simple for you to do it on your own. Go to traces and get your updates done. So it had no background. Did it start?
Hey, Sandip, I see you're on Microsoft Teams. What's on your mind today?
I am sharing an email which I received from the TDS department. Can you tell me, is there any concern which I need to work on?
Looking at the email from the TDS department, it seems to be about tax deduction details. Make sure you understand the context related to your financial records. If there are any discrepancies or missing details, that's where your focus should be.
Should I contact my CA firm to help me out, or is this something I can just manage on my own?
You could probably handle this on your own, but if you're unsure or complex issue, reaching out to your CA firm might be a good idea. They can provide expert advice and ensure everything is handled correctly.
What if I don't do anything on this email? What are my penalties?
If you don't respond to the TDS email, you might face penalties like interest on the amount due, even notices or legal actions. It's best to address it promptly.
Thank you.
All I did was share my screen. Okay? And I asked questions. Nothing else. This is another example of, again, from a corporate point of view, how do we think? So now I'm sharing a screen of a graph.
Hi again, Sandeep.
Hi. Can you look at the chart and explain what it tells me?
The chart shows the OECD Global Consumer Confidence Index, reflecting people's sentiment about the economy. It highlights a decline in confidence since 2022. By March 2025, the index dropped to 98.4.
Which industries get affected due to low confidence?
So this question answer is not on the page.
Low consumer confidence can hit several industries hard, especially retail, travel and hospitality, big ticket items like cars and real estate, and luxury goods. When confidence drops, folks tighten their belts, leading to reduced spending in these sectors.
Sure.
Curious about...
Let me just move to another graph or a picture, and if you can help me explain this one.
Sure. This graph displays primary emissions from mining and processing materials. It breaks down emissions by category for aluminum, copper, lithium, nickel, and steel, showing electricity, process, and fuel as sources. It also shows total emissions in metric tons of CO2 per metric ton of material, and demand projections for 2035. Would you like more details on a specific material or aspect?
Yes, why is nickel so high?
It's thinking. Again, the answer may not be on the
Nickel's
page.
high emissions come from both mining and processing, with significant contributions from electricity and fuel sources. Nickel is often used in energy-intensive processes, and the demand for nickel, especially in batteries and stainless steel, drives its production. The carbon-intensive nature of these processes contributes to the higher emissions.
Thank you.
And now I'll just show the third one, which is Excel-based.
Hey, Sandeep.
Hi, can you tell me what you're looking at?
You're working in Microsoft Excel, and it looks like you've got a task tracker open. There's a list of tasks, owners, and due dates, like complete budget submission and prepare for quarterly reviews.
Sure.
Need help?
I just need to highlight the due date for past due dates. How do I do that?
To highlight past due dates, select the due date column, go to conditional formatting in the toolbar, and choose new rule. Select format cells that contain, and set it to highlight cells with a date less than today. Choose your desired formatting, and you're all set. Want to give it a shot?
Sure, thank you.
So now consider this. Whatever you see, it sees. I tried 3 different platforms, right? A TDS, which was an email, a browser, and Excel. I didn't have to train anybody. This is your IT department. This could be your HR department. It is people who do not understand some things will give answers which are superior to people who may not use AI, because they are using AI to give answers. Super powerful. And if, as you think beyond and out of the box, an average person will become a superhuman, because if they start asking questions like this on their screen, imagine you asking balance sheets or fraud questions, can you find something? Let it do its job, and you'll be the superhero. Okay? So vision can also have a huge way of how we work in future. And that's why the purpose of showing very simple demos. Again, all this is last 2 months development. So I'm not showing something old stuff also. This is all available only in the last 2 months. The last one, or last topic, and then I'll wrap up, memory. Okay. LLMs were there for last 2-3 years. What is being infused in LLMs now is memory. Okay. ChatGPT has it. I think Google also is going to bring it. Copilot has it. I don't have a slide or a demo from a time point of view, but think of it that it starts understanding what you are asking, what you are continuously monitoring, and it starts storing in memory for more personalized information. It's still in beta phase. So last month, I went to Jaipur for a week. I said to my daughter, she's 15, 16 years old, so I said, I want you to keep the hisab of everything we spent for that 7 days. And I thought I'll use Copilot and say, every time I spend, I would go to Copilot and say I've spent on taxi or food and all that stuff. So for the first 3 days, whatever I was telling Copilot, it was remembering and making notes. So I could get a summary of 3 days spent just from Copilot because I was just talking. I've spent a taxi, 1,000 rupees, please add. You are my accountant for Jaipur trip. I kept telling that for 3 days. After 3 days, because it's in a beta phase, Copilot forgot everything. Bad luck. Whatever I told him, forgot. And my daughter, whom I told to keep hisab, also didn't do anything. So both failed, okay, on my trip. But think of this situation where because there is memory, and this is Copilot consumer, Copilot your official chat, because it will have memory, you will start using it as your personal assistant. The emails, the outcomes will all be customized to what you want and what you like. So this is a super important development to really treat an assistant. Like somebody mentioned in the prior thing, right? This is your intern. This is your executive assistant. Use and abuse because that memory will be unlimited as we move forward. So super important for you to keep this in mind. Now with that, I will come to the final slide and then just parting messages. We all are used to this. How many people spend more than 1-2 hours on the road every day? Practically everybody of us. I come from Bangalore, so 1 hour is magic if I reach from point A to point B. So when I go to office, come back, 2 to 3 hours is a given. Okay. Now the way to think of it is, what am I doing in my 2 to 3 hours on a daily basis? And I'm saying podcast to the rescue because now as AI is coming into different products, you are not able to attend every meeting, you're not able to stay on talk. So this is just one example. For example, in the calendars, if I've missed any meeting, I can convert any meeting for half an hour, 1 hour into a podcast and listen to it in 20-30 seconds and understand what's happening. Catch up time on the bus when I'm going or in the car through podcast. I also get a lot of PDFs of research, this, that, industry trends coming, some micro font, 60 pages, 90 pages, god damn it, there's no time to read all that. So what am I doing? I am using Notebook LM, for example, which is a Google product, where you just upload it into LM and it'll convert your 60, 90, 100 page of PDF into a podcast. And Google is also experimenting this Notebook LM as you being the third speaker. So 2 people are talking in the podcast on that PDF. You can actually interject and start talking and asking questions. So imagine a dead document, PDF, boring, to a highly intelligent conversation which are happening as you move forward. So this is another technique for you to think and learn as you move forward. Now, so as I wind up, I think the only way we all as individuals or as a corporate or as audit firms can grow if that mindset is there of culture. It has to be a top-down. You cannot keep saying your employees learn AI, and you still using a rubber stamp. Okay? It has to come top-down. Super critical. It's not about messaging, it's about actions. So again, these are just some of the examples which we are doing as a company, but very important that it happens. And we now move on to a survey. Okay? So I think a survey was scanned to all of you in a multimeter. So let's now look at the results as we move forward. So I'll just need some help. How do we take this forward while we go through? So this is your answers over the past 1 or 2 hours, which you would have given benefit of CAs using AI tool. And you can start seeing multiple places where you are saying everything is all about interpretation, and the answers are becoming more and more biased towards one pillar only as the answers keep coming. So it is very clear that I think we are all sold as individuals and as CAs that it is there to stay. Question is, are we putting in time? So one of my bosses actually gave me a fact. When a person knows that he's about to die and he has to change some habits, it is so difficult for him to still change his approach because the brain is always short term. We love Instagram. We love YouTube because it gives brain that dopamine. Whereas 21 days of exercise, the brain says that's too long for me to focus on. So same goes for a lot of things which we are doing right now is, are we running after dopamine, which is an Instagram way of working, or are we thinking long term? Because if you want to be surviving in the next era, dopamine is not going to help. You need to learn, spend time, and move forward as we go forward, because that's the only way you will survive and we will all survive. Doesn't matter your age. Like I was talking to Chandrasekhar sir, for me, he has a learner's mindset. And we talk this way of, in Microsoft also saying who is the learner mindset and who is the owner mindset. An owner mindset says, I know everything. I don't need to learn anything new. I'm the owner. A learner mindset is a person who will learn for life. And that's the people we need today. Otherwise, you will not survive. So as we go through this, some of the questions, so there were 10 to 15 questions which were there. So again, just as we go through the answers one by one, most of the answers are all pivoting towards a very high percentage of, at 99, 98% as we move forward. Yeah, this one I totally subscribe to, expense claim category. So I used 2 weeks back, I downloaded my bank statement for income tax. I said, look at the narration and categorize as income, interest, dividend, blah, blah, blah. At least 80% it did on its own. Then I had to only work for the 20%. So this expense claim categorization is a good thing of, again, using AI as we move forward. So the next one, which of the following best practice best describes the AI-driven CA of the future? And here again, 98% in one of the bars leverages AI for insights while applying human judgment. So again, the right way to move forward, one major obstacle, resistance to change and lack of training. Again, agree with this, and that's why I said take control of yourself. The organization might be slow, you don't need to be slow. Whether it's on weekend, travel, learn, educate yourself, try. So how can AI improve financial forecasting by CA? And the answer again, 99 whooping of analyzing historical trend and generating predictive analysis. So as we move forward, lifelong learning, and that's because technology was again a whooping 98% on one answer. So it just shows that I think mentally we are all aligned to do the right things. Like I said, LLM is correct. Is the body correct or not? Is your agent going to help you with your brain? Or is it just the brain saying this is correct, but your body is not supporting you? Unless you don't combine the two, kiss goodbye, because the brain in itself is useless. So as we go forward, lifelong, can we move to the next one? Okay, so I think we are done for today. Thank you very much. Hope, after this last 45 minutes to an hour, it was educating and entertaining. And some hard-hitting facts also, if we need to survive the next decade as CAs, because it's not the same as last decade. So I hope this gave you some insights of how we are working and operating, and we will also change. It is just the starting of change, I would say.
Absolutely right, sir. Thank you so much for such an amazing session, sir. And now I request CA Sanjay Nikam sir, RCM WIRC, to please give vote of thanks and facilitate, sir.
Thank you, Amisi. Very warm good afternoon to one and all. Dignitaries on the dais, CA Sandeep Shah. Dignitaries of the dais, all Central Council members, Regional Council members, and my fellow members. Good afternoon to one and all. I, CA Sanjay Nikam, Regional Council member at WIRC, and it's my privilege to deliver a worthy vote of thanks to none other than the Sandeep Shah. He's a Chartered Accountant and Director at Finance at Microsoft. For his engaging and insightful session. Sir, we are truly grateful for your thought-provoking session on the AI-driven CA automation, analysis, and upscaling. Your clear and practical demonstration of Microsoft AI-powered tools tailored for the accounting and finance profession has been both eye-opening and empowering. You have helped us reimagine the role of chartered accountants in an AI-driven future. Let us carry forward the knowledge and inspiration we have gained today as we embrace innovation and drive the transformation in our profession. Thank you once again, and see you all in next session. So I'll request all of you to join your hands with big round of applause for appreciating his efforts and contribution to the success of this session. Thank you very much.
And sir, I also request you to kindly facilitate, sir.
Yeah, sure.
A big round of applause